is via their orders. It's not like back in the day in the pits where they're shouting back and forth and whatever, and gaining understanding through that. We can get the same kind of understanding through the order flow. Understanding lots of interest via same kind of understanding through the order flow, people's activity with their orders, and that will give us an edge, right? Instead of just looking at candlesticks and indicators that try to make up for that difference, Bookmap can actually show that. We can get a feel for it. This is the process we're going to go through, and we'll go through this in just a second here. The impetus, what's moving the market. This is the same process we use for our Bookmap Academy to understand. Well, it's taking the bigger step back and looking at the general market, understanding what's moving it. This is critical, and without it, like you shouldn't be trading. And then we want to look at the higher time frame levels. So we want to see where traders are reacting at these critical levels, and that will give us a lot of insight into the interest in the markets. And then the third element here is starting to develop strategies and scenarios around these key levels. So, for example, if we're going to the downside and we go past maybe a key level, and then you see that maybe a lot of people got stopped out, and maybe we start to turn around, we start to see buyers come back in. Well, there's your scenario of you would be prepared for that scenario, and then you would look for a mean reversion type of trade, or even a reversal and going long. So these are the kind of strategies and scenarios you want to build out after understanding what's moving the market, the impetus, and the key levels, order flow around those key levels, because then you will choose your setup. Your setup is the proper setup for the day or for that scenario, and as long as you're trading the proper setup, then your chances of becoming or higher are much more probable that you're going to have a positive outcome. When it comes to your setup, we talk about it in here in the Bookmap Academy. You should know your setup intimately. It just comes down to a checklist. You already know it. You know how to react. Once it presents itself, you take the trade. You'll grade it. You'll determine your sizing. Is it a really good setup? Is it okay? Go through that process. Then it just simply comes down to execution. Look at the order flow to give you that insight and manage the trade with the order flow as well. All right, so the Bruce's pilot program. Yeah, guys, I have said that we're going to be kind of relaunching this and rebranding this, a new name, and I'll have some materials for you. It should be later this week, right? So keep an eye out for that. And what is this all about? This is about building a trading edge for yourself. It is very different than looking at setups. Actually, let me show you something. We go through, if you go to bookmap.com and you go to education here, and you scroll down, we're using one of the setups in this supply and demand mini course here. And it is this one here, trendline break and accumulation. It's a reversal pattern, but we're going to understand passive accumulation at a key level, and then a structural break. It could be a trend line, it could be a horizontal line, and then we're looking for aggressive accumulation to drive the market. So the setup is already predetermined, but we're going to go through it and build out an edge through the process. All right, so most of the traders I come across, they are lacking an edge. Most retail traders, those especially new to the game, and they don't, unfortunately, they can understand all the setups, but they don't know how to build an edge. This program is designed to change that. All right, so I'll put the link into the chat for you. Let's go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure. Trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump in. Let's take a look at it. Now, we're going to take a look at this is a candlestick chart in Bookmap on the higher time frame. This is a daily candlestick chart. Okay, so if, you come up here and you can see that I'm on a daily interval here on the candlesticks. Let's go through this in the higher time frame in here. Okay, so we're kind of seeing this pretty important inflection point. We're going to talk about the technical levels here, but we're also going to talk about the impetus of what's moving the market. So as everyone knows, we have had a government shutdown that's ending, but we have not had a lot of data, a lot of understanding of employment data, which is critical for the Fed to make decisions and for us to understand any softness or strength in the economy. So we will be getting some of that. That will start to come out, but we don't know what those results are going to be. We've been flying blind on that. What we have been flying on is the earnings data. Okay, so it's earnings season, and we've had very robust earnings from many important stocks across the board, especially in tech. It's been good. Now, our eyes are all over NVIDIA reporting earnings coming out Wednesday at market close. That's going to be huge, right? That's the what, $4 or $5 trillion stock, and we want to understand what's going on with NVIDIA. Okay, all the other Mag 7 stocks had stellar earnings, so I anticipate, I would imagine, it's going to be the same. However, there's been a lot of kind of trepidation in the market due to overvaluations, and you can see it here in the daily. Okay, so this was the actually this was Trump talking, I think, back on October 10th, something about trade wars or China or something there, and we recovered immediately after that and went to all-time highs again. Okay, and then up in here, now we've been seeing this behavior for quite a while. Traders are interested in buying the dips; they're not so interested in buying the tops. So you can see that we come back in into the range in here, and then look at some of these big red candles to the downside. Okay, this is back on November 7th here. We actually saw this. This was on Friday, November 7th, right? Double check on that, I believe. Yeah. And during the webinar, we were looking for the sell-off, but we were looking for buyers to come back in, and they did. You can see this closed. We gapped up. And we continued on up, and we were looking for after this Friday in here, we saw all sorts of passive liquidity getting filled on the bid. Okay, a lot of buyers, and then we saw later in the day the aggressive buyers came in and moved this candle to the upside here, so this was an order flow event on the bigger time frame that I was mentioning, and it's really important to keep an eye on these things because when you see things like that, you can look for, or what I have seen at least many times, is multiple days to the upside, and that is what we got here: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? I believe no, the 12th. Let's see here. No, the 12th is Wednesday. So I'm sorry. This is the 17th. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 12th, Wednesday. Okay, well, anyway, Thursday here is the move to the downside, and then we see the 14th. We get continuation. We come right back up into the where it closed from on Thursday. Right, so we're kind of right in the middle in here, now, why am I going over all of this? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Aesthetics. Alois, Robert, Trading His Life, Shark, and Steven. So like I said, we wanted this bigger picture approach. We're going through this process in here, okay, from the Bookmap Academy. And we want to get this understanding of what we want to do, how we want to react in the bigger picture. Okay, and we're doing this on Monday, of course. We've got the whole week ahead of us, and we have some big news coming out later in the week as well. All right, so anyway, the okay, kind of stuck right here in the middle, sloshing around. Now, we want to understand in the auction process in here, with the candles that we're looking at in here, what is the interest to go long, to go short? Are we just kind of bashing around in a range in here? So let's dive into it, and we'll take a look. So you can see again, like from last Friday, we found buyers. And we found buyers at the same area that we found them the previous Friday. Okay. However, we are seeing this kind of change here. In my opinion, look at the size of some of these down candles. Okay, so this multi-day to the upside, just one big green candle in here. And you see the sellers take it right back down. So we're finding buyers at the lows and we're finding sellers at the highs. We were looking for trading up into some of these swings up in here potentially. We just go above the swing high up here back on the 4th. And just get up above. Don't quite get up to the 3rd of November up in here. And so we're making lower high in here, and you see the selling is pretty strong here to the downside. Okay, especially on Friday. All right, so that's the environment we're in. We see buyers still buying dips, moving price up pretty quickly, but we're also finding sellers at some of the highs up in here, or lower highs now, and driving price right back down. All right, so those are our key levels in here. As you can see, this some of these swings in here dictated from Friday's activity. Okay, around this 66.70 in the S&P, and then 67.95 up here. So pretty big range. Let's zoom in now, and we'll take a look at the price action for today. Okay. Actually, let's maybe we'll go to the hourly chart here first. Take a look at that. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right, so yeah, here's our day to the upside here on last Friday, and then you can see the Sunday, evening opening, the overnight here, and then you can see today's activity. Okay, on the hourly in here. So what are we seeing? Well, we found some buyers just below the swing here on the overnight. Okay, so we did dip down below, and we found some buyers. And now, where do those buyers take price? Well, they took it back up to the 8 o'clock swing high up here around 67.71, and you can see we test up there, and we found some sellers. Okay, interesting. So now we want to see if there's still more. You can see the pullback here back to 41, and we come right back up again though. Okay, and then we're seeing sellers come back in again now. All right, so I'm really curious to see if this if we get more buyers back up here on a retest, and then a potential breakout up into some of these areas up in here. Okay, so and then I'd be looking for maybe this 6,800 as a potential swing to reach. All right, so that's kind of the bigger picture here, and then let's go through some scenarios, and then we'll look at the order flow. All right, so in the scenarios, actually, let's go drill down into a 15-minute chart at this point. All right, there we go. Okay. Okay, 15-minute chart is telling us quite a bit more. Okay, see this little consolidation period in here? Well, we see the buyers take it up to there, and then it was faded. Okay, so we didn't get any higher than that. So this is going to be a pretty critical area for the market to get through, is up in here. Okay, so that's something that we want to look at. Now, if we start to see a lot of buying coming back in down in these areas in here, the first area we look for is the swing highs up here. Maybe around there's going to be a lot of activity around this 65 area, 70, and then the swing high from today, okay, up at around 75, and then we're going to see if we get through this area up in here. If we do not, and we see sellers starting to come in, a hand over fist, the first swing is down here at 42 or 41, and then the overnight low here, or I'm sorry, this is the swing low here today, right? So down here around a 26 or so. All right, so that's going through some of the scenarios, and then now let's jump in and look for potential setups. Okay, let me turn on everything here. Best bid and offer. Take the candlesticks off, and heat map and volume dots. All right, there we go. Okay, well, this is why we love order flow. Look at the volume up here. Look at the interest in trading up in here, and look at the selling coming in. I'm looking for sellers to take it right back down to this 40 liquidity right here right now, and then we're going to see if we get continuation. Do you guys see how, like, as soon as we turn on Bookmap in here, at least from my perspective, things became much clearer of what's going on within this price action. Looking at those candlesticks, we just don't know. Okay, well, here's some of our scenarios in here, right? You can see the high liquidity on the offer getting filled as price comes up into these areas, and then we see very little activity here on the buy side. Can't get into this high liquidity at 75. We see sellers come in. Okay, you guys are going to note this again and again, and this is critical in market structure. Okay, yeah, this is going to be kind of like a little POC right there. There it is, and then we couldn't get through that. Okay, we couldn't get back up above it. So what do we see in here? Let me bring up my pen tool. All right, so we see a lot of selling, I do not see a lot of buying. Okay, we come up here and we kind of exhaust out again, and I'm starting to see sellers again. Okay, so I see sellers, a little bit of swing back, but I'm still looking for sellers, and I'm looking for follow through. Right, this is just by understanding structure and volume within that structure. All right, so let's see now. See the exhaustion up in here as well. Okay, there's exhaustion here as well. Both of these are low volume pullbacks that we will go over more in the near future, guys. As like I said, I'm kind of rebranding that whole pilot program, and we'll have new materials for you guys, and it's going to be, I can't wait. Like, I just can't wait. I love this program, and you guys are doing so well in it as well. All right, so let's take a look in here. All right, so we're finding a little pocket of buying, another little pocket of buying up in here. So yeah, it looks well, I mean, we got to get the buyers to come back up into these, into these highs in here, and we don't know that yet. Okay, so we're actually finding some buyers in here, and let's see if we may get some follow through back up into this 57 or this low volume node here at 60. Okay, whereas previously it was looking pretty good for this move down into 40 here. Okay, so anyway, I just want to go through this low volume pullback up in here. This is a good one right here. Okay, so this is for all of you guys in that pilot program. Um, let's take a look at this in here. Okay, so we have our structure here. Make that a little bit better. Okay, we have our structure here, and we also have a smaller structure up in here. Okay, do you guys see that, right? It's back and forth up in here. The break, the pullback to the bottom of that structure, and look at the buying in here now. And let's take our volume bars and lift this up quite a bit. I'll be like Shark and I'll move it all the way up here. Okay, so so we see the selling cluster of selling, okay, selling dots, and then here's our pullback here. Okay, look at the buy volume in here. Okay, so sellers are moving it away. This is your impulse move away from the structure. All right, so that's the first thing to look for, and then you want to look at that impulse move. Okay, now it came back down and just below the bigger structure here, and then it pulled back to the smaller structure that I just drew in here. That's the pullback, right? And then we're looking for our sellers to roll back in here. We're looking for exhaustion. Boy, that's a little much for me, Shark. I got to move it down. We're looking for our pullback, and we're looking for those sellers to roll back in here. Let's zoom into this area here. Okay. Yeah. All right. This is what we see this a lot in here. Actually, you see buyers. You see buyers. You see buyers again up in here. There's still more buying than selling here. But look at what they're able to do, or not able to do. They're not able to make an equal high here or a higher high. Okay, and then we see some back and forth in here. You see a big sell bar here. That will be this dot in here. And then we see very little buying in here. We're starting to see our sellers now. Okay, when we see our sellers in here, that's when we're looking for this to break. Okay, back down to the bottom of the range. Consider taking some off in here and hit your single. Okay, the beauty of this though is we want to hold it, and we want to hold it for a bigger run. Okay, on that low volume pullback, we're going with the new trend here on this time frame. And here's another one in here. Okay, you can see that we traded down here. See the cluster here. Look at the impulse move here. It's very small, but it's still there, still holding true. Okay, we see some buying is not bad in here actually. There's still more sellers than buyers. And then we see the sellers roll in again, take it back down further. Right? So guys, any questions on this? And then we see a pretty nice cluster of buying up in here, but they're still not able to take it higher. Okay, so this low volume pullback, impulse moves define it. And then we're looking for a pullback on lower volume. And then we're looking for a continuation. You know, we're looking for some sort of order flow event in here being testing some of these areas, and maybe a low volume node. Okay, that happens a lot. Okay, so it would be a low volume node like here. Let's just zoom in here a little bit. Okay, look at right here. Here's a low volume node right here, and here's our pullback. It doesn't even make it to the low volume node. Okay, so and then we can go back in again in here, and then let's look at this, what might be in here as a low volume node. Okay, so yeah, up in these highs, it's not a low volume node. Well, yeah, it will be a low volume node, right? There's some volume, not much though. And then look at this in here. Now these become microstructural. It's not truly microstructure, but you know, it's not sub-second level. Okay? We're looking at, you know, some seconds or minutes in here, and then you see like a little double top in here, some exhaustion, some selling, taking it down again. Right? So we look for that again and again and again. All right, so let's zoom in now and see what's going on. okay, because we were just looking for this continuation move into this 40 liquidity here. And then we saw this move back up and we found some buyers. Okay, interesting. So we're finding some buyers now at the lower end in here. So this move to the downside, let's cover this first off in the bigger picture, because there is something I saw in here, and I didn't mention it, but I didn't like it, and that was not seeing a little bit of lack of activity on the buy or the sell side in here. And that's when I was like, yeah, well, maybe it'll do it, maybe it won't. It should do it. I'm looking for it to do it and move into 40. And nope, we didn't get it. The buyers are back up to the swing here, back where that point of control is, up in here. All right, so we're finding our buyers now, and they are likely to test the metal here of the sellers here. So we're probably going to see some stop runs up into that area here. Okay, we're just trading into 60 right now. There's another thing to mention. Again, it's all about the context between these passive buyers and sellers, the liquidity and the heat map, and the aggressive buying and selling with the volume dots. Okay, and then we're going to look at the structure in here and the relationship of that passive and aggressive buying and selling. Okay, there's a couple of things in here actually. One is, yeah, I still would have looked for this move into 40, but we have high liquidity here on the bid, getting filled on the way down. Okay, I really wanted to see this high liquidity transact as well. It didn't, so now we're going to see if we do come back down here now after trading to the other side here, the range into 60. Okay, and then we're going to see if we get our sellers to finally trade back down into 40. All right, now that's one thing that gives us some context and understanding. There's another in here, and it's very much about this structure in here. Okay, so let me cover this here, because look at our structure up here. A smaller structure, break, smaller structure, break. Okay, a little bit bigger pullbacks now, starting to find in here. Okay, just on this one. Okay, and then a break, and then look at the pullback here. See how this one's a little bit different. Okay, now it really doesn't. It can still fail and go, to the downside, very, very quickly here. What I'm trying to mention or point out is this pulled back quite a bit. Okay? These other ones, see how it comes to the bottom of the range in here, where this one doesn't even come to the bottom of the range, this pullback here. It doesn't even come back up into like the 63 area here. It was pretty strong move down. So the pullback is more shallow. This one is stronger. It comes back to the POC. It comes back above this range in here. So before, on these other examples, okay, we'd be looking for the range to be here, somewhere around here. It was higher, right? So that's showing a bit more strength. We're starting to, maybe look for a potential reversal. But we still found some sellers, and they came back down into these lower areas. Okay, so now let's take a look and see. We just traded to the other side here at 60. Okay, and we are finding those sellers that we're looking for. Now I'm looking for those sellers to trade down into the liquidity down here at 40. Okay, so here's our break, and let's just zoom into this in here. Our break is pretty strong, okay, on the selling. Okay, we didn't really get those low volume pullbacks here. Okay, it's just been one big impulse move so far. I mean, there's little wiggles in here, but you know, I'm looking for those sellers. They're coming in hard, so I'm looking for them to trade into 40 and potentially even break 40. All right, and then let's zoom out and look at our bigger picture here. Okay, does that make sense? You know, about market structure and understanding this what's happening right now in the price action. Okay, look for these this context. I think can be really helpful. And this is, again, this is the scenarios that we're talking about. This is actually part 3 of the process that we're talking about. Okay, let's see here, just shy of 40 so far, and starting to find some buyers. So you know, trading is live. Shark, Laura, Robert, some of you others in the pilot program, DNT. I think you know, you guys are starting to probably see some of these things like in this context in here that I'm talking about. Okay, because you know, this is not one of our setups, but you guys have studied these things enough. Now is you're probably starting to piece together some of this activity in here and understand that, okay, you know, if we trade back up into here, hit some stops, and we start to fade and we start to see the selling coming in, we would look for them to come back down to the bottom of the range and trade into this high liquidity here. Okay, from one end of liquidity here to the other end of liquidity down here. Yeah, it's a pivot low. Yeah, down here around this 40. Okay. I mean, you can see what we did. We traded back down into exactly where these swings are, but we did not trade the liquidity yet. And we're starting to find some buyers. Now, this buying in here, let's go over it. This is where that context comes in. Do we see lots of passive liquidity coming in here? No. They're not getting filled on the bid. Okay, this is only the aggressors in here, right? How much aggressive buying power do they have? Well, you know, maybe they'll come in and we'll see it, you know, rocket up to 70, you know, maybe. But our context in here is these buyers are not leaning on a lot of passive buyers in here. Okay, so it's just aggression here. Okay, so that means if they stop buying, this can cascade to the downside, right? So I'm looking for it right here. Maybe they'll give it one more shot here, back up to like 50 or so. But see how we're starting to read this in here. Here's some buying. Look at the buying in here. Very little at all. Okay, and then now we're looking for sellers at the bottom edge to take this down into 40. Okay, so they're giving it one more shot here. Okay, and okay, well they're able to, you know, move the market a bit, but let's see who's on the other side here. Okay, so there's liquidity here and here, and now let's see how much more buying pressure do they have. They start to exhaust out. Do we find the sellers come back in again? So I'm looking for sellers right here at this pivot around 47. There they are. Okay, now I'm looking for sellers to drop it. Okay, and I'm looking for 40 at this point. And let's see what we get here. This is the tricky part in here, but you know, even in here we mentioned that these little spikes like this can happen before we come to the other side and then drop. All right, sellers, this is your moment here. Let's see it, and I'd love to see this cascade down into and through 40. But our target is 40. All right, let me see if there's any questions over in YouTube. A few. Let's see. Really appreciate the tutorials. Oh, you're welcome. Very insightful. Do you have a Black Friday sale? No comment on that, but we'll update you later if we do. What's the best way to determine momentum when in a trade to hold? Okay, Mario, we'll get to that. Juan, Bookmap is the best. Excellent. And then let's see here. Frank, is TraderMap Lite better than the Bookmap data provider? Well, TraderMap Lite is a works with you know, all the data. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's market by order data. So either Rhythmic or Bookmap data. Okay. All right, guys. Well, here's our move into 40. Okay, that has unfolded, and that was our target. Now, again, I still think we probably have some room here to the downside, but now we're hitting some of this liquidity here, these buyers in here. Okay, and there's some more down here at 38, also down here at 34. Okay, so now we want to see if there's aggressive sellers that want to trade down there and a lack of aggressive buyers. Okay, so this is a key concept that I hope you guys I don't know if I get some confirmation in here or just you know, something. Does that make sense, Laura, Shark, Stephen, DNT, Trading His Life, about this context in here? Because this is actually at the heart of the trendline break and accumulation. Is understanding that passive accumulation. If you don't have it, then you're only relying on aggressive accumulation. Now it may move higher. It may, you know, all of a sudden, maybe there's even some news. However, they're kind of out here hanging in the wind. They don't have this passive accumulation behind them. And when they don't have that, and we trade up into passive selling up in here, this liquidity at this 60 level, we can look for those sellers to come back in and either squeeze these buyers, or you know, they're just going to start to target and finally trade down into that high liquidity. Okay, so that's the context to put together in here. And the only thing that I can say is that I'm hoping, or that's why we started with that trend line break and accumulation um, setup. Okay, so you guys really get an eye for and a feel for that passive accumulation. It's really it's where Bookmap really shines as well. Bookmap will really help you there. Okay, so look what's happening now. Okay, so we traded into that. Now these buyers can rely on some of this in here. Okay, that maybe this was a target, maybe it's I mean, we know that there's high liquidity here. Okay, now is that enough? Okay, well, it's probably enough to trade back up to maybe the swing up here, 50, 52, and then we look for maybe the same thing to kind of repeat. Oh, the pilot program. Okay, Beverly. Yeah. There's another one in here. It was Nadia, I think. Great to see Nadia and putting some content out there and getting involved into the pilot program. It's not just about the setup and how do I say this? It's not just the setup and replay mode. Okay, you guys will use replay mode. You'll see these setups over and over and over again. You will be trained in it. You will look for these. You will mark these things up. Now, that's great. There's a whole nother side to it though, and that is sharing it within the pilot program chat room. So take your screenshots of your marked up charts and share it, because you're going to get so much more from other traders and feedback and understanding of what's going on. I mean, we all believe over here in community and the support and the learning that can take place in the community. But it was really Shark who I think Shark, you had said that you talked with Axia Futures and they had mentioned, look, yeah, we have our setups and the traders are good in this or that or whatever they follow. But where the magic really happens is their community. Okay, they're sharing and learning from each other and bouncing ideas around with each other. And that's where you're really going to ramp this up. Is you're going to learn a ton in replay mode. You're going to learn a ton in journaling and marking up your charts and all that experience that you're gaining in replay mode very, very quickly. But once you start to share it, you're going to learn a lot more. All right, so it's a big part of it, and it was really Shark that really kind of turned me on to that, and he's totally right. So partake in the sharing in that pilot program chat room, and I think you're gonna learn a lot more. Okay, and that's where you'll start to put these pieces together. I don't know how you can't help but put these pieces together and start to see these things. And then what do you have? You've got a setup. You've got an edge. You've got rules to follow. Yeah, and we're building a team over there, Shark. Exactly. Oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait. It's been a while, and guys, I've been so busy with so many other things like. It's really kind of bogged me down. But anyway, I'm addressing it the next couple of days here. In fact, we'll end the webinar here in a few minutes, and also maybe a shortened day tomorrow, and so I can work on some of these materials for you guys. Okay. All right. All right, so here we go, right? So finally, we traded down into 40. I thought there would still be some more selling pressure. There wasn't. We found more buyers, and they've taken it back up again. All right, so now we're just going to look for the same thing again. Okay, so you can see the structure in here kind of going back and forth. And let's see if are there more buyers willing to take this higher. Okay, looks like it to me. I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing support underneath here. I see the sellers getting out of the way here, so that opens the door for the buyers to sweep the order book back up into maybe 70 here, or I'm sorry, 60. Okay, and there we go, right? Maybe this turns into continuation move in here. I would look for the swing high up here, or liquidity. So I think 60 is a pretty good area to trade to. All right, guys, these are not trade recommendations. We're just reading the order flow, and we're going through this process in here. Okay, impetus of what's moving the market, our key levels, developing strategies and scenarios, and then we're looking at our setups. Okay, and then we're looking for determining the risk and the movements, and then order flow to manage the trade. Sil, you signed up and didn't get any response. Okay, I have found out a little bit more of what's happening there, Sil. Check your spam. If you should have received it. Anyway, check that, and then you can reach out to support. Support has some documents to take a look at and help you out with it. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, as you can see, this is what we got. We got the move back up into. We didn't even get it to 60 here. I thought 60 looked pretty good here, but we're finding sellers. Okay. Now let's take a look at this in here in terms of context. We found some sellers here, but we didn't find too much on the offer here, right? Hold on a minute. Just okay, there we go. So we didn't find too many passive sellers up in here. There's some. Okay, that's why I was looking for these buyers to take it up to 60. Okay, well, so let's take a look at this though. Where did the aggressors come in on the sell side? They came in here. Okay, starting at 55, and then on the way down now. Okay, so how much do these sellers have behind them as well? Not a whole lot, right? I mean, we don't see a whole lot of passive accumulation in here. Okay? So now, again, we're going to have to rely on the aggressors. How much supply and demand do they have? Okay? And we're talking about big red dots then, right? Moving it back down. Okay, if there's not a lot of passive liquidity behind them, we will probably find buyers supporting it in these areas in here. Okay? As we are right now, look at the structure and see where these buyers came in and moved it higher. Okay, so that's where we are right now, and we're going to see, or we do see, a small bounce here. Okay, it might bounce back up and retest these sellers up here. Okay, so that's what we're starting to understand here in the auction process, is the strength of the buyers and the sellers, and within the structure. Okay, because in hindsight, yeah, we can come up with and make everything make sense. Okay, but what do we know now moving forward? Well, we know that this is where buyers came in, maybe a little bit lower in here, but somewhere around this area here, 43, 40, 44, and we found aggressive sellers in here, and we didn't find a lot of passive sellers up here. Okay, so this is all about the aggressors here on the sell side. Okay, now it's all about the aggressors here on the buy side as well. Okay, so then I would be looking for these buyers to try to reach back up to, first swing here would be 50, but then maybe back to 55 and retest those sellers. Okay, now we need to see. Right now we're just kind of in this small range here at the moment. Okay, so this starts to define and dictate the back and forth market. All right. We'll be looking at more of this in the future here. This is why we don't want to take the trade for the continuation when we don't have those passive that passive accumulation behind us. Okay, because then this can just slosh around in here by the aggressors. Okay, let me see here. Laura, you had written something, and yeah, good point, Laura. This is something that Bogdan brought up. Yep, I'm just reading it now. Um, yeah, this is a very nice comment, Laura. Thank you. Laura is saying in here that it's also important to switch from the idea of trying to solve the market and to navigate through the markets. This is Bogdan from, we had some conversations in webinars with him, who wrote a book from Axia Futures on what he has seen, his insights from the very high end professional traders and some of the struggles of that they had along the way. It's a really great thing where he talks about complexity versus like uh, oh God, what does he say? It's not, complexity is not the, like a car is complex is the analogy he uses. Uh, oh, what was the other word? It started with a C as well. Complexity, and also it was more about the environment, the, like an ecosphere, how it's complicated. I can't remember. But the difference between something mechanical and something that is kind of flowing, and the markets are flowing. They're not mechanical like that. Okay, so anything can kind of happen, and someone, maybe it's news, it's geopolitical. Many different things can unfold. We don't know, right? So the best we can do is start to through our experience, learn some of these elements in here and the context between them. And then we, look for it's more probable to unfold. Anyway, it's yeah. I wish I could remember his webinar. Anyway, that is the idea behind it. Okay, so just going with the flow, and so now here come, now we were looking for aggressors down here because we didn't have in here that passive accumulation. Okay, so buyers they took it back up. They didn't take it all the way back up to 55. They took it back up to 52. And then now we see the sellers sloshing it around again, trading it right back down. Okay, now let's see if these sellers meet the buyers here. Looks like it to me. I'd look for these sellers to take these guys on into 43, 42, and 40 again. Okay, so and then see these buyers up in here. Watch, we'll see a stop run into this lower liquidity in here. Okay, well, that's what I'd be looking for in this scenario. Now, I don't know. That would be my scenario. But down in this area in here, this is where we found buyers previously. We might find them again, the aggressive buyers in here. All right, yep. So, sloshing around again in here. And let's see it. Let's see if these sellers have enough selling pressure. And this is and why I mentioned here, down here, a stop run. Okay, is we need to see a stop run for this move. I in my opinion, I'm looking for it right now, because for this move to unfold from, hold on, from here down to here, from 43 or 44 down to 40, I want to see the move unfold by the aggressors due to people not being able to handle the pain. Right, so that would be the stop run. That's what will make this move here, would be people exiting their positions, these buyers up in here. And in a sideways market or environment, we see this all the time. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's our stop starting to pick up. I'm looking for a little bit more than that, but that's all we got so far, was this here. So this was 881 down to, it was about 100 or so. Okay, so I'm looking for a little bit more than that. Let's see if we can still push this bottom edge here. No, no, we're finding buyers. Anyway, guys, let's we'll call it quits for today. And let me see if I got to all your questions in here. I think so. Yeah. And yeah, we'll come back to it tomorrow. And yeah, and then I'll be working on this pilot program stuff for you guys. Okay. All right. Yeah, take care, everyone, and we'll catch up with you. Well, I'll let you know if I may show up for a small period tomorrow, and then and need to continue on with this pilot program. Really, it has to be front and center. I need to focus on it. We can do that. We're going to have a really great, as Shark is saying, not just a trading community, but like a trading room, like a trading floor, basically. And all of this it's included with your Global and Global Plus subscription. Okay, so Sil, that's another thing. Maybe you don't have access if you don't have Global or Global Plus. Okay. Let's just wait and see if we get this stop run there. I'm still looking for it. There we go. Look at that. There's our big stop run. Okay. All right, guys. I don't know. I mean, like, to me, that I would be exiting on that, because I just don't see the trend right now. Okay. We don't know. Maybe it does. But I do know that a lot of buyers got filled here into 40 and a bit below here. All right. So again, this is a different way of looking at it. We've talked about it. We've talked around this subject for quite a while, but this is a much more focused of understanding if there's not that passive accumulation, then we can look for these kind of edges and stop runs around them, because it's all about the aggressors, and then how much do the aggressors have then behind them. It's always a big question. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming, and we'll catch up with you. Well, I'll let you know if tomorrow, but probably for a little bit, and then may have to kind of duck out early. All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming, and we'll catch up with you next time.